I'm live right now. I am live.
Oh no.
Nom, nom, nom. I'm live. I wish I could look at myself while I'm looking at YouTube, but I can't. Okay. Uh-oh. I don't have my specs. I don't have my reading glasses on. Shit. Where the other desk? Other desk. Okay then. They're on my other desk. Oh, I have several pair. Okay. Well, let's see which one of these suckers. Oh, these are the big ones. Okay. All right. One of the nice things about ADHD, you end up with lots of stuff. Now, these are actually, yeah, these are bigger. Okay, cool. These are the ones I'll wear tonight then. Let's see. These said XL. They don't feel XL. They feel like they're still a little too small, but whatever. Can't hear you. Uh-oh. Can anybody hear me? Can anyone hear me? Hello? Please turn your light on. Okay, he can't hear me because he's deaf. Dude, that's not funny. Don't prank me like that, bro. Ooh, oh, mood lighting, yeah. Move that half empty Jack Daniels bottle. I did it. I had a little bit of Jack Daniels and Coke. Just a little bit, but it was enough. It was more than enough. When you don't drink a lot, it doesn't take a lot to give you a little buzz. Can't hear you. Dave, everybody else can hear me, bro. Oh, turn up the volume on your phone. Turn up the volume on your phone. Volume up. Load and clear. Load and clear. That sounds like something you'd say at a construction site. Bro, load and clear. Yeah, load it up and get the fuck out of Dodge. Oh, these are not good for TikTok. I have to get really, really close in order to see you guys because these are really super high power. Okay, well, if you can't hear me, you could always go to YouTube, like, and subscribe if you want to. I'm not saying you have to, but Big and Corn Fed is live on YouTube. All right, Paul. I see how it is. Let's see. I tried that one night and it said I had to pay a certain amount of money. Really? That's interesting because I don't make anything on YouTube. So I don't know who you were sending money to, but happy Thanksgiving there, Bob Berg. Oh, and don't forget the day after is Native American Awareness Day. Whatever. Or Kwanzaa or whatever it's called this month. Paul can't hear you. I can see that. That's very clear. Paul has got clover in his ears. Uh-oh, did I get kicked off? Oh, okay. It just jammed up a little bit. Go Vikings. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, you're not talking about me personally. Or are you? All right, let's see what the hell's going on in the world. I got all excited, man. I got so excited. You remember, guys, I want you to, this is why I do the YouTube, because they actually save this shit, and you can go back and see all my live streams from, months ago. And this is really important because I said about 2 months ago that I actually could see, finally, I could see a way forward where the United States of America didn't utterly collapse. And that was because of the overturning of Chevron deference, which, by the way, is the Loper-Bright decision. And that because of all those regulations being stripped away, the stupid ones that the people put in place just so they could maintain their dominance over us and tell us what to do constantly, 60,000 rules and regulations, most of which make no sense. But I said, if that happens, plus Donald Trump gets elected, we're good. Well, here we are. Somebody said, oh, okay, I'm Native American. Yeah, but look, my point is to have the day after Thanksgiving as a counter protest is stupid. If you want to celebrate Native American culture, I live right in the middle of it. We celebrate it every day. We go to the ruins. We go to see the Anasazi, and we wonder at how amazing they were and how the fuck did they build that stuff up on cliffs. Arizona's full of proof of the ingenuity of Native Americans. So to have the day after Thanksgiving as a counter protest, it just takes the, look, if you said, look, we're going to do it on the summer solstice because Native Americans around the entire country, they celebrated that. Oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. But to do it the day after Thanksgiving, like, oh, well, we want one too. It's like Kwanzaa. No, let's make our own. Let's put it the day before or the day after. It's like, come on, can you be more reactive? Don't do that. It's a shopping day. Ugh, that sucks. That's so sad, man. Yeah, actually, you know what? Fuck, man, that makes it worse. It just hit me. That actually makes it even worse. On the day that Americans celebrate their amoral lack of like ethical compass by going out and being the most commercial and the most the most what's the word I'm looking for? It's been a long day. Materialistic. That's when we celebrate the Native Americans, the people who are probably, I would say some of the least materialistic. I mean, it's a fact that if you are on a reservation, even if they don't really know you, if you needed to borrow money for gas or you needed help with something, you needed something that they had, not a problem. I mean, I grew up in California and Arizona. I've known a lot. One of the girl that I wanted to marry someday, her name was Leslie Tallchief. The only reason I didn't was because her father looked exactly like the guy from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I am not shitting you. He was the biggest Native American man I've ever seen. I'm 6'7". Now in high school, of course, I was only, by my senior year, I was only 6'4". I was still peewee, but he had to be close to 7 feet tall. And I swear to God, that man scared the shit out of me. And he was, I wouldn't say he was friendly, but he wasn't unfriendly. He just never said anything. He's just so quiet. And in that quietness, I could just hear him planning to kill that kid who was dating his daughter. Although he probably wasn't, but I don't know. Let's see. Okay, Paul, we get it. It's funny. Let's see. Sounds like my dad. Really? Have we dated? Interesting. I never really found out what happened to Leslie. Oh, I was so madly in love with her. First girl that ever broke my heart. Yeah, called her right after boot camp. She sent me a couple letters telling me how awesome I was and how she missed me. She unfortunately in one of them called me her baby blue Marine, which was the one that my drill instructor looked at. That made me sweat a lot. But when I called her after I got home from boot camp leave and I'd lost 76 pounds and I looked like an absolute axe murderer, she had broken up with her boyfriend, and We spent a lot of time together. 16 days to be exact, which was the exact length of my, or 15 days, which was the length of my boot leave. And then, so it was it, man. That was it. I was absolutely convinced it was going to be us. How old when you married? Well, I would have been 18 because I was going to marry Leslie. And when I called her a few weeks into, about a month into infantry training school, and she told me that she thought she was pregnant, I was overjoyed. And then she told me that it wasn't mine, it was her ex boyfriend's. And well, I wasn't as overjoyed. Overjoyed would probably be a bit of an overstatement, actually. Uh, yeah, well, that's, I think she probably got pregnant the same way a lot of people get pregnant there, Michael. But I didn't ask because at that point I just wanted to hang up the phone and learn how to use demolitions and go somewhere with a lot of bad people in it and just blow shit up. That was the final straw, man. That was where I was like, okay, you know what? This love shit's not for me. I'm going to be a Marine. That's all I'm going to be. I'm just going to be the meanest son of a bitch on planet Earth. Yeah. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, well, wait a minute. This guy is way too humble and handsome to have been that mean. Nope. Nope. I was mean. Let's see. My brothers had 4 failed marriages. Woo! That's got to be almost a record, except Elizabeth Taylor. Just pick up empty, paid $30 and can sell them for $75. Empty Engelhart plastic tubes. You can wait. You can sell plastic tubes for $75 a piece? That doesn't make sense. All right. There we go. Bye, Paul. Bye, Paul. I can't hear you 300 times is enough. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Nikki Haley? I absolutely can't stand her. You may as well put Dick Cheney back in office. She is a neoconservative chicken hawk that wants to get people into war and get people killed. Period. She is a worthless piece of crap, in my opinion. Do you really want to know what I actually think? No, I'm just kidding. Try going out and coming back in. For what? Let's see. Yes, silver round tubes. That's just weird. Do you think compares with Tulsi? No, Tulsi Gabbard is in the military. She's an officer, a command officer. She's been in combat zones. She's led people in combat. She's incredibly intelligent, and she is extremely anti-war because she's seen what war can do. Nikki Haley is just a puppet. She's just literally a cardboard cutout of a human being. She is, in my opinion, exactly in the same place as, let's see, who are the worst among us? Nancy Pelosi. She's one of them. Speaker of the House, dipshit, turtle face. The guy that's got no neck. What's his name? Mitch McConnell. Yeah, these are all people that just absolutely should not be in politics. No connection. What the hell? Uh-oh. Okay. What's going on? There we go. Somebody got censored, but it went by so fast I didn't see what it was. Just freezing up. Yep. All right. Talking about Jerry. Jerry, you're going to have to be a little bit more specific there, Freebird. Jerry Nadler? God, that guy's, look, just look at him. It's all you need to know. Just look at him. The guy is clearly a miserable, miserable human being. Yeah, Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham, they're all just old guard lying sacks of shit. They are the problem with this country. Absolutely. No question in my mind. Those people need to be brought up on charges, literally brought up on charges. And God willing, they will be. Steamers. Don't know what that means. Yeah, Diane Feinstein was, if she's not dead, she should be. I think she is. I remember when he shit himself. Probably buy gold, get ready for high inflation. Yeah, well, there's nothing we can do about that. So yeah, buying gold and silver is the way to go. Gold is still fairly expensive, and silver is still super, super cheap. By the way, for those of you who weren't on my live stream, this is something that you would probably enjoy. If you go onto YouTube and go back, I don't know, 1 month from now, back in time machine, you'll see that what I said was that if Kamala Harris got elected, I would make twice as much money next year as I would if Trump were elected, even though I still think that the silver market is going to go up, and I still think silver is going to do very well. The one difference is going to be there won't be any panic buying. There will still be smart people who understand how to hedge against inflation, and those people will absolutely buy silver. However, it won't be panic buying. So I'll make half as much next year. And what happened? Donald Trump was elected. It went from 35. It's now at 30. I know what I'm talking about, guys. Look, I'm not stupid. I've been doing this shit for a long time. So, Robbie says, F you. Wow. That hurts my feelings. I mean, unless it's a proposition, unless you're saying that you like me. What about Paul? Oh, Paul got blocked. Look, I'll debate anybody, but when somebody just keeps saying the same dumb shit over and over again, it's like, okay, goodbye. Shouldn't say that. This man, he's very smart. No, it's okay. I get it. He finds me attractive and he wants to F you with me. Okay. I mean, it's not my thing. I'm not, not that there's anything wrong with it. Look, bro, I wish you the best. I hope you find a guy just like me, big, hairy, monstrous, good-looking bear dude who can do exactly what you ask. Just ain't me. And I think 5 kids is a pretty good proof of that. Well, so far, it's only halftime. Elon, if you're listening, and I know you do, I know he's got to follow me under some pseudonym. Elon, I'm gonna catch you, baby. You think you got the market cornered on kids? What did I think about the Mike Tyson fight? Was there a fight? He threw 18 punches. And by the way, I haven't checked because I don't give a shit, but somebody was talking about the fact that there was a contract that they got a hold of, his contract, that said he was not allowed to throw an uppercut, which I found fascinating, since that's how he knocked most of the fighters out that he knocked out, was with uppercuts in close. I mean, come on. The guy's 58 years old. You take away his best weapon, and then what do you want him to do? Dance around for 10 rounds or whatever it was? I mean, come on, he's 58. Let him get in there and just swing like a motherfucker for 4 minutes. He wins or he loses, but he couldn't do that, so it was sad. It was a script. It came out the day before. Oh, it was a script? Like fake? Okay, well, maybe it was. I don't know. I don't care enough about it to really go into it. Okay, so it sounds like it might have just been a fake thing. Freezing up again. Son of a gun. The U.S. election results from the Associated Press. Oh, you know what? That'd be good because I trust those guys. How do I feel about crypto and Bitcoin? I've always said this, and those of you who have been on here, you can testify. Testify. I love crypto. I love Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is probably one of the greatest leaps forward in society since the Magna Carta or the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. It's And if you think about it from a philosophical standpoint, that's not hyperbole. It's not bullshit. It's huge. My only problem is that I also study solar science, and I know that at some point, perhaps in the next few years, we are going to get hit with a massive solar storm. Will we be ready for it? Well, I can tell you this: the last guy who actually put time and energy into reinforcing the power grid in the United States was Donald Trump. He actually signed a bill to harden the grid. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But that's the only reason I wouldn't go heavy into Bitcoin. I would definitely go into Bitcoin, but not heavy. Is it time to buy more silver? You've got, you know me. I'm not the heavy pressure guy. So I would say you've probably got between a week and maybe a month. So if you're still saving up, don't worry about buying silver. I'm not going to tell you got to buy it by Friday or else. That's bullshit. You don't have to buy it by Friday or else. What I do think is I think that when you look at some of the real numbers coming out, they're awful. They're they're really bad. The real estate market has bounced up a little bit because Trump was elected, literally right after Trump was elected. Do you think Trump's case should be dismissed before he returns to the White House? I don't know how many still got pending. I know he had, several of them. If it's the insurrection, then absolutely, that was idiotic to begin with. It really was. It was just stupid. It was just an idiotic thing. Bruce says, why? If you mean why do I think that the numbers went up for real estate? I mean, it's still the worst real estate market in 14 years. So that's not good. I mean, it's not a good thing. However, when you look at it from the standpoint of where it was crashing really badly. I mean, the numbers were staggering 2 months ago. So, and it was getting worse by the day. Literally by the day, it was crashing, and it just bumped up a little bit. Now, does that mean it's going to continue? Well, look, 7% mortgages, highest home prices in history. We'll see. Supposed to mean yes about Trump dropping charges. Yeah, I think if it's about the January 6th stuff, I think what I would rather see than just dropping the charges is I would rather see a full, real investigation of who was there, what their intentions were, why is it that people from Antifa have been identified there. Antifa is literally the antithesis of MAGA. So why were there Antifa people there? And were they the ones with the noose? Were they the ones that were throwing shit? What happened there? Okay. Number two, I want to know how many undercover FBI agents were in that crowd fucking period. I don't want any more bullshit. The FBI knows the answer to that. They've known it for years. Now, come on. Just tell us the truth. We know it's bad. How bad is it? That's what we need to know. We need to know if it's you're going to prison bad or if it's just you're fired bad. Let's see. Your thoughts on Ukraine getting nukes from Biden? It's completely impossible. Nobody's that stupid. Not even a senile Joe Biden is that stupid. That is the end of the world. Fucking period. Your thoughts on, let's see. Also, did you see Trump's post about raising taxes for China by 10% if they don't stop sending? Oh, well, I can guess the rest. Fentanyl. Yeah, absolutely. No, I didn't see the text, but I absolutely agree. Look, they were helping us, and this is absolutely a fact. Go look it up. I saw this on the news. When Nancy Pelosi went to Indonesia, she decided, and I think perhaps the Philippines as well, she decided she was going to stop by Taiwan on the way back. Now, as an incredibly high-ranking member of the United States government, China said, don't do that. That will be a slap in the face to us. Well, even Biden called her and said, that's not a good idea. And basically her answer to Biden was, fuck you. I can do whatever I want. I run this country, not you. So she stopped in Taiwan. And that was a slap in the face to China. So China decided that they were going to stop helping us with the fentanyl crisis. and they started sending hundreds of tons of chemicals to Mexico to be turned into fentanyl. Because, hey, you're going to slap us in the face? We're not going to help you with your drug problem. Look, we don't have the drug problem. You have the drug problem. And that's exactly what they did. Oh, boy. I said the word out loud. I just got restricted to certain audiences. Just because I said that F word. Let's just call them what the people on the street call them. Blues, because that's what they call them. Yeah, I know. It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing how fast TikTok will censor you for virtually anything. I have a funny feeling that might change here shortly if they want to continue in the United States. What about raising tariffs for Mexico too? Here's the thing about Mexico. I love the American people. The Mexican people. I love the American people too, but I love the Mexican people. Their government is so corrupt and so completely bought and paid for by drug cartels that we need to do something radical at this point. Now, obviously, if you call them a terrorist nation because they're sending all of this shit into our country, you then have to give anyone who asks for asylum, you have to grant them asylum. So we can't really call them a terrorist country. But what we can do is we can tell them, look, all of your goods, they're no good. Not to us. Not until you decide that you want to actually help us. People need jobs in America. Yeah, we sure do. We absolutely do. And it's interesting because the answer to that is that when you look at native-born Americans and their average of $34 an hour, and then you look at people that are here that are from another country but citizens, it's $20 an hour. And then when you look at people who are here illegally from other countries, undocumented, it's exactly $16 an hour. The difference between $34 an hour and $16 an hour is enormous. So all of the jobs that the Generation Z and millennial whiny babies should be doing, the hard jobs where you actually have to go out and earn the money, those are all being done by low-paid workers, many of whom don't pay taxes. Well, what happens if we make them go home and then we give those jobs to somebody who right now is living with mom and dad in the basement, or who is, getting welfare? Is it going to be popular? No, because Americans have gotten lazy. We don't do work. We do work. It's why on Memorial Day and Labor Day, I always make sure that I'm out in the yard doing something that's hard, because we don't do hard work. So on Labor Day, I'm like, you know what? I'm actually going to labor. Let's see. How do you think Tulsi Gabbard's slightly more lean left policies will impact U.S. intelligence? I think it's going to raise hell. I think it's going to raise absolute hell. And it's not really that she leans left as much as it is she's someone who knows. She's someone who knows the impact. And so her question is the juice worth the squeeze? Well, depends on who you are. If you're BlackRock, of course. How many people from BlackRock have died in Ukraine? Do we know of a single person from BlackRock or any of their subsidiaries who has actually given their life in defense of the Ukraine? However, they've made hundreds of billions of dollars on this war, and they have the contracts to go in and rebuild Ukraine. And as Lindsey Graham said publicly, I can't fucking believe it, but publicly yesterday, he was talking about how we're going to make a ton of money. Yeah, we're going to make a ton of money on Ukraine, because after this war is over, they have $4 trillion in rare earth metals. Plus, they're the breadbasket of Africa. Literally, without Ukraine, Africa would starve to death. So they have so much money, and we're going to get it. Where have I heard that before? Iraq. That's where I've heard this before. how did it go? Let's see. It was, we're going to go, we're going to invade Iraq, and then we're going to take their oil and we're going to sell their oil on the open market. And then that oil is actually going to pay for the war. So the war is not going to cost the American taxpayer anything. Do you guys remember Dick Cheney saying that over and over and over again? Uh-oh, Moon Monster, you got censored. What does it say here? I saw on TV Ukraine grandmother getting ready to fight now. Yeah, I'll bet that got censored. Doesn't surprise me. Look, the average age 6 months ago was 49 for recruits. That means that fully half of those people are in their 50s or 60s. Do you have any idea what they're up against? I know people that were Spetsnaz, that were special police in Russia. And these are some of the nastiest, hardest sons of bitches I've ever met in my life. Luckily, they're friends of mine, so they're nice guys. They were always really, really cool to me. But I always knew these are not people to be trifled with. Like, these are some of the toughest guys I've ever met in my life. And so what's a grandma going to do? To give her life, probably within the first 15 or 20 minutes that she's up there, maybe less. You know, I mean, how long does it take to get into a trench? Because right now, the last I read from what was it, India Live or something like that. It's a news organization out of India. They said that that Putin has sent 2,000 drones. These are not drones for racing or photography. These are drones with bombs on them. 2,000 just in the last couple days. You can pay an American worker $34 an hour, and they won't last an hour working in the fields. Well, they're going to have to, aren't they? It's going to be look, we're gonna go through pain on this. There's no question. We're gonna spend billions, but we were spending billions anyway. She could fire the machine gun. For those of you who have been in the military, like myself, can you please, for Moon Monster, identify the two infantry types that are killed first in combat? The two people, the two types, the two jobs, MOSs, that are fired at most and first. Generations now can go out and work in the field. Yeah, they sure can. Well, 03, no, not scouts. Those guys are smart. They don't get seen much. Radio operator, that's number one. That's what I did for a while, and it was always fun. Do you like Trump's picks? Most of them, yeah. Communications and medical, yeah. Well, communications. A lot of times they'll leave the medical guys because they want the medical guys up so they can go and grab people. Because every time you shoot somebody and wound them, it takes a couple guys to drag them off the field, including a medical guy. Well, you've just gotten rid of 3 or 4 people off the battlefield. If you kill a guy, everybody sees he's dead. They just leave him there for the time being. So you've only eliminated one. You don't want to kill people. You want to wound them. You want to make sure they can scream. Yeah, I mean, I cook my MREs. You have to cook your own MREs. Well, I guess they've outsourced that now. But no, the two MOSs that you go after first. Number one, communications with the rear, so you can't call in air support, artillery, mortars, any of that shit. Big mortars. Number two, machine gunners, because you can lay down the most fire. So everybody wants to get rid of the machine gunners first. You pop a couple machine gunners, you disable that machine gun. Now it's just a bunch of guys with pew-pews. Not the same. What do I think of the new Russian rocket? It may be the key to peace. That's what I will tell you. It is so stunningly fast that what they're saying about it is 100% true. Hypersonic missiles like that cannot be fired at. You can shoot at them all day. You're just not going to hit them. They move at 3 kilometers, 3,000 meters per second. You're not shooting it down. They say 5,000 miles an hour. Well, 3,000 kilometers. It's 1.6 kilometers per mile, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or kilos per pound. Fuck it. Who knows? Freaking French. Anyway, yeah, it's. I can tell you this: the new, is it Kinzhal? Is that what they call this one? It is. It's so stunningly effective that it may actually finally shut the Biden regime up. Or I don't know who's in charge. It's not Joe Biden. It's not Kamala Harris. She's in, I think, Hawaii. She just did that slurring drunk thing. I thought it was literally, I thought it was slowed down so that she would look drunk, but apparently they didn't slow the audio and visual down. Apparently that was actually her slurring her words and looking drunk, or maybe I don't know, on Xanax. Who knows? It's not, none of my business what she's doing. She doesn't matter anymore. She's gone. But I will say this: Biden's not in charge. So I'm assuming the Secretary of State is in charge, and he's making some incredibly stupid decisions. Deep down inside, do you hope Russia wins this war? No, I hope they just stop now. I hope they just stop now, because winning the war isn't what you think. Russia's not trying to take over Ukraine. They don't want Ukraine. They wanted Ukrainian militias to stop killing ethnic Russians, and they asked for that for 8 years before they finally went in and literally drew a line down 20%, the Donbass region, and said, okay, now we're going to actually ask them what they want. And if they vote to become part of Russia, well, screw you. And that's exactly what happened. So that's it. The only reason they're fighting right now is because Ukraine keeps getting weapons from the United States, and they're saying, hey, I'm going to keep going. We're going to win this. The chances are absolutely zero. Literally, you could not have worse odds than they have now of winning. So to me, both countries win if they just fucking stop killing each other now. Like right now, stop. Right where you are, stop. Okay? Ukraine, promise in writing that you will never join NATO. NATO is a defunct, stupid idea. Russia, stop killing them. Okay? And hey, everybody, we're the richest country in the world. If you stop now, we can all do some trade together. We can all get rich together. Ukraine, look, you've got rare earth minerals. You've got wheat. Russia, you've got oil. You've got gold. You've got diamonds. You've got everything. You've got an enormous amount of resources in your 8 time zones. The United States of America has 3 time zones. They have 8. What the hell, man? That's crazy. Big rocket factor in North Korea. Not worried about North Korea. North Korea is not suicidal. They don't want to die. They want attention. They want to be fucking recognized. Okay, so Trump's going to recognize them just like he did last time. All wars are bankers' wars. Fact. Or NATO should change for all countries to be in. That is exactly what Putin said to Bill Clinton in the year 2000. He said, let us become a NATO member. And that way, there's nothing to fight about. We're all on the same team. But we didn't want that because we need a straw man. Who's going to spend $800 billion a year if one of 2 things happens? Number 1, we have no enemies. Or number 2, we find out that all that money spent on defense can't defend us against something like, oh, I don't know, aliens or an asteroid the size of the moon or the sun. Then what? Who wants to pay taxes? Peace isn't profitable. Not for corporations. Peace is incredibly profitable for average human beings. Imagine a world where there are no wars. Imagine a world where people actually negotiate for the things they need instead of bombing. Imagine a world where if someone tried to, start a war just so that their corporation could make money, that they were immediately held to the highest standard, a capital offense, and the justified punishment. Let's see what we need. All countries to be in NATO. Russia should be part of NATO. Yeah, I mean, look, I think it would be a great idea. I think it would be a fantastic idea. You know, look, put Ukraine and Russia in NATO. Fuck it. Although I don't think Russia would want to be now. They don't trust us anymore. You know, they did for a little while, and we did what we always do. We were like, oh, you trust us, huh? Pants are down. Oh, you dropped the soap. We went in there and we just privatized everything. We tore up their country and we just literally pieced it out to the highest bidder. You know, ask Mitt Romney what he did in Russia as a good Mormon. He went over there and he was supposed to show these guys how to privatize their national owned factories. What he did instead was he identified the most profitable factories, which happened to be in the tobacco business, something Mormons are absolutely sworn not to do. He came back here and made a deal with RJR to go back over there and buy those factories for pennies on the dollar, knowing that only a few percent of Russian people smoked at the time. And he said that he believed it could be as high as 50% if the marketing were done correctly. This is Mitt Romney, Mr. Religious guy. Yeah, selling death in Russia. And by the way, stealing all of their resources. How could joining NATO impact Russia? That ever happens to be in bad times? Oh boy, look at that. What bad terms with the U.S.? It can't be. If we're all together, look, man, how do you get on bad terms? That's just silly. Jonah, you got censored. It is the answer. Ask Russia and all the countries to join NATO. Yep, absolutely. Billions still in cigarettes. Yep. Yeah, tons of people smoke. Never liked Romney. Well, what's to like? You know, the guy. Look, the only people that I can't stand more than abject liars, that people who are compulsive liars, are people who are compulsive liars under the banner of speaking for God. Those are the worst. And believe me, the Reverend Hagees of the world, if I were the president, ooh, baby, I would hammer the shit out of those guys non-stop, because they are liars, cheats, and thieves. They are taking money from the poor, the desperate, the scared, the sick, the old, and they're living in 300-room mansions. They're saying that they need a new $75 million airplane because the $50 million airplane they've got now is not efficient enough. Whatever. They are our enemy. Well, they're not really. They're not. They don't want to be our enemy. It's a war machine world. Right now it is. Let's fix that. It's that easy. Let's fix it. Don't vote for anybody who wants to supply weapons to anyone. Robots are fighting. Oh, really? Well, I can tell you that those robots are killing human beings. That's a fact. And when you say robots, I mean drones. I've seen some of the footage, and it is stunning. It's worse than anything that any of the Terminator movies could have predicted, except it's real, and you're watching human beings being killed by drones, and it's not fun. America, Russia, Australia, England, Paris, the Arab countries in Africa should all be allies. That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. I can tell you this. Do I know how those drones work? Yes, I own drones. I sure do. And mine don't have facial recognition software. They don't actually track down specific individuals and or uniforms and or patches, but those drones do. So if you're wearing the wrong shirt that day, you're a dead man. You remember the second debate between Romney and Obama? No, thank God I didn't even see it. No, it was, but I do remember him saying that. The 80s had called, and they wanted their foreign policies back, or their something along those lines. Everybody laughed because they were like, Russia's not a threat to the United States anymore. And they weren't. You think Obama's win was justified? Do I think his win of the presidency? Yeah, he talked a good line of BS, but it turned out
that was bullshit.
Yep, turned out it was bullshit. But do I think that his Nobel Peace Prize was justified? No, I think it was absolutely the worst moment in Nobel's long and storied history. It was absolutely a joke. It was literally a joke. This was the first president to kill with a drone a United States citizen and his native-born son without being brought up in charges, without any grand jury, without any kind of due process whatsoever. Constitutional law professor, huh? Well, that's terrifying. Yeah, he got the Peace Prize. I know. And all he did was just, instead of sending in people, he just used drone strikes. He just killed tens of thousands of people with Hellfire missiles and cruise missiles. Obama was not what we thought he was. Luckily, it turns out that now that his new job is producer of movies, he's even worse. The movie that he and Michelle produced was absolutely the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It literally didn't even make sense. Like there were so many holes in the plot that I thought, anybody read this? His piece has a surprise. Do you remember movies they show us in the before it happens, Skynet? Oh yeah, absolutely. He sent in death robots. You bet. Do you think Mitch McConnell's happy to be a free man now? I don't think Mitch McConnell's been happy for a long time. I think Mitch McConnell is an evil person. I think he's an evil human being. And I hope he goes where evil humans are said to go. I really do. He's killed more people than you could possibly imagine. Just in Ukraine alone. He's caused the deaths of hundreds of thousands of young men that thought they were doing the right thing and didn't understand what was going on behind the scenes. And it was Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and what was that nitwit woman's name? Oh God, Nikki Haley. What an idiot. Staying neutral ever makes us the oppressor. Staying neutral. No. I think that unless we are pressed into it, like World War II, we were sort of pressed into that. We sit it out. We help them negotiate. We offer everybody money. Look, do trade with us and don't fight with them. And we'll make sure that you all make money. Everybody gets what they want. And that's the way to do it. Why do people go to war? It's about money. It's about resources. It's about power. Well, give them more power, resources, and money. That's what we did with North Korea. He said, I'll rain fire down on you. And then he said, you're a little rocket man. You got a little man, a little bit. Oh, yeah, Nancy is right in there. You got a little man complex, and I'll destroy North Korea. Then he went over there and stepped into North Korea, shook his hand and talked to him. And what happened after that? No more missiles. No more yelling. No more nothing. He just wanted us to recognize. That's it. Hey, man, give me some props. Show the world that I matter too. Maybe we can do some trade deals that way. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you're gonna fuck around with nuclear weapons, then okay. Look, we'll take our foot off your neck. We'll give you a little bit of, we'll throw you some crumbs and everybody's happy. I think you have to be honest mindset, and we need someone like you as American president. Yeah, I would either be found with some kind of bad stuff on my computer within 72 hours, or I'd be accused of doing something with either what was the famous saying that Donald Trump was so popular that he'd have to be found in bed with either a dead girl or a live boy. That's how popular he was. That's a once in a lifetime thing. And I guarantee you, like, look what just happened with Matt Gaetz. as it turns out, I actually did some digging, and there are some great journalists digging up stuff that is absolutely stunning. Yeah, what happened in Florida with that underage girl? That's true. That did happen. What nobody talks about is that his friend, who he knew loosely, was the tax collector in that county, and he was in charge of issuing driver's licenses. And he issued her a fake ID that showed, that proved to Matt Gaetz that she was 18. Oh, so he was 30 years old and 29 years old, screwing around with a girl that he knew for a fact was 18. Then it turns out she's 17. Well, wait, where's the discrepancy? Well, she had a legitimate license from the state of Florida, a real one, not a fake one. Well, why did they do that to him? Well, it's a funny thing. The moment that this stuff came out, the president can't get accused of anything. Well, that's true now. But the moment that all of this came out, Matt Gaetz' father got a call from someone saying, "Look, we can make all this go away. Well, this will never come to pass, but we're going to need $25 million from you." I'm sorry, what? Oh, it's not for that. I'm not saying that you're paying us to make this thing with Matt Gaetz go away and get a presidential pardon. What I'm saying is, we need $25 million as a donation from you right now. But, we know some very important people. We'll make all that go away. Yeah, that's actually what happened. Do you think that Electoral College should ever use a plurality voting method? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know anything about the plurality voting method. I'll have to look it up and I'll get back to you on that. Yeah, you know about this. Yeah, and that's the thing is, so the Justice Department did an investigation. They found out what actually happened, and they went, okay, well, nothing to charge here. Yeah, what he did was technically illegal if he knew the truth, but because he was so convincingly deceived, if you're completely unaware, like if you ask for proof and the proof never came, or when it did come, it was proof that you hadn't done anything wrong. What's the problem here? But that's not what they did. What they did was they said, "Hey, we're going to put this to bed, and it's over. We're not going to follow it anymore." And then as soon as he announced he was going to be Attorney General, in a position where he could actually do more digging and find out what really happened and whether or not his friend set him up on purpose. Because his views were very publicly known at the time. So was this a honeypot? Was this a scam to set Matt Gaetz up so that if he ever put himself in this position, he could be silenced? Because that's exactly what happened. The real truth is, when Donald Trump actually gets in, how is it going to change life everywhere? Well, it's going to get worse temporarily. That's the truth. Deporting illegal immigrants is going to cost billions of dollars, and it's going to cause quite a dust up. But the reality is this: we're spending billions of dollars anyway, but we're spending millions of dollars to fund people who aren't legally here, but they are taking low-paying jobs away from the poorest Americans. They're literally hurting our tax base. They're hurting American-born citizens. So either way, we're going to spend the money. Either way, that money gets spent. But does it get spent so that 4, 5, 6 years down the road, we can now start to rebuild a better, stronger base? Now that we've gotten rid of all of the regulations that are simply there so that bureaucrats can keep their power, so that manufacturing can actually begin again in the United States, so that corporations who want to go overseas and then send their shit back to us have to pay wildly high tariffs Look, if you want to use child labor, go ahead. But just understand that your child labor with a 50% tariff is going to cost the same amount as making it in the United States. Well, why don't you just not be an asshole and make it in the United States then? And that way, at least it's American made, and that's a huge selling point. And I guarantee you that that will be the battle cry for the Conservative Party for the next 12 years. Made in America. Made in America. It's extremely important. We have to do it. We have to start manufacturing things again. We have literally the strongest country in the world. And when we all put our minds to it, there is literally nothing that we can't accomplish. We're the craziest fucking country ever. You think that just because Germans like to wear spandex when they're in the bedroom, you think that makes them crazy? No, a rubber suit does not make you crazy. That just makes you Catwoman. What we do here, when we shoot a rocket into the air and then it comes back home and gets a big hug from the launch pad, that's crazy shit right there. But that's the kind of crazy shit we do here. So, let's see. So true. Yeah. Look at Candace Owens' TikTok about Gates. Oh, I haven't even seen it yet. I'm sure it's good. She's a pretty sharp cat. Let's see. And that's why you should be president. Thanks. I do appreciate that. I would love to be an advisor. That'd be fun. That would be great. To what extent will domestic manufacturing positively impact the U.S. economy? Think about it this way. What we need are two things. We need, number one, manufacturing in the United States of America. Number two, we need a bilateral agreement with Mexico so that we can use them in the same way they're going to use us. Yes, we will use Mexico, but they will use us as well. That's what you call a win-win. That is that's a symbiotic relationship. They have outstanding labor. They also have outstanding education. Compared to the rest of the world, their education system is actually pretty good. A lot of people there speak English. This is the most important part. They are us, North Americans. Canada, sorry, you don't count right now, but they're North Americans. They have the same religion. They have the same ethics and morals. Some would argue better than us, with the exception of drug cartels, which what is that, 1%? Maybe not even 1%, maybe 1/10 of 1%. But the average person in Mexico is just a normal dude with a normal wife, and she wants to stand by her man and go to church and have kids and raise their kids and go to play soccer and do, look, these are the people we should be leaning on, not the Chinese. Not people whose morals and ethics have been absolutely 100% proven to be non-existent. Okay? They see us as their enemy. Period. It's a philosophical thing. They don't tell us the truth. They don't believe that they need to tell us the truth. They use us to gain power and influence, and that's it. It's the same thing with Israel. What do Israelis do for us? Nothing. Are there beautiful Jewish people all over the United States of America? Yeah, absolutely. Let's just say a little prayer. Dear God, thank you. Thank you very much, because without Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas, my life wouldn't be the same. So, yeah. But the reality is this. Israel as a state, they have no loyalty to us whatsoever. They never have. They could care less. They really don't care. It's obvious. So why do we fund them? Because somewhere there's a quote in a 2,000-year-old book that says, oh, they're the chosen people. Therefore, we have to help them. No, we don't. As a matter of fact, their history and the Palestinians' history run very much parallel as far as being outsiders who are shunned by a lot of cultures Why? And why are they fighting with each other? And most importantly, why do we care? Why do we care? It's their fight. Let them fight it out. Let them do their thing. We don't want anything to do with this. This is not about us. Okay? This doesn't help us. Well, they did bomb us. The USS Liberty is absolutely a true thing. And man, it sucks. It sucks that they did it. It sucks that they got away with it. So, look, the bottom line is this. I don't want to help Israel, and I don't want to help the Palestinians. I don't want to get involved. The Middle East is literally the hotbed of turmoil for thousands and thousands and thousands of years now. I'm good. I'm good, man. Look, I don't need, as a guy who thinks of himself as a Christian in a very different way than most, I don't need to go to Israel. I don't need to see the Holy Land. Look, man, why? Ooh, this is a lot. Oh, look at this rock. Jesus might have peed here. What? Why do I care? The message is the message. So the message is universal. It's wherever you live that you got the message. So put it into action where you live. Duh. So let them settle. But politicians are sold. Well, yeah. I mean, the reality is they're never going to settle. Those two groups will never settle. So let them do what they're going to do. I mean, look, this has been an issue since what, 1958? Is that when this became a real serious issue in the Muslim world, in the Arab world? Because it's not ours, it's theirs. Ukraine, well, we broke it. The Pottery Barn thing. You break it, you buy it. Guess what? Oh, 48, right? 58. What am I thinking? 48, right after the war. Exodus. We broke Ukraine. Will gas go down? Absolutely. That's one of the biggest ways that we can fight inflation. And we're going to have inflation, and it's going to be pretty spectacular for a little while. But the reality is that one way we can fight inflation is by making energy cheaper. Now, does that mean that I want to see oil fields everywhere and get rid of all the regulations so that we can do things like, do fracking in national parks? That was under Bush. That's something that Dick Cheney did. The only restriction was you aren't allowed to frack with your system in a national park if you put a fence around it, because then you're restricting the movement of people in a national park, and that for some reason remained a rule. But yeah, you could frack the fuck out of a national park. You could destroy the water system, et cetera, et cetera. I think fracking is probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen as far as waste. It's extremely toxic to the environment, but you know what? My view is totally irrelevant. I studied fracking, so I know what it does to the water tables. I know what it does to aquifers. I know what it does to and of course the companies that do the fracking won't even tell us what's in the fracking fluid. They won't do it because it's quote unquote a trade secret, and therefore they're allowed to protect it. But what's in it? I just want to know what's in it. Good question, Moon Monster. What is in the fracking fluid? Are you putting arsenic in there? That's what it looks like. It looks like there's arsenic in there. Well, if you're pumping that arsenic at 2, 3, 4,000 psi down into the rock, into an aquifer, how much of that arsenic is then transferred through the aquifer? How much of that gas gets pushed into the aquifer and bubbles up in streams and kills everything? Lots. Wouldn't do it in Yellowstone. Don't bet on it. Do not make that bet. Oil companies will do anything for a profit. That's one thing that has to be reined in. They will do anything for a profit. Think Gulf War 1 and 2. Why did we invade Iraq? Well, Saddam Hussein was helping Osama bin Laden. Well, then it turns out that Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein hated each other. They couldn't stand each other. So why did we invade Iraq in 2003? Why did we stay there for so many years? Oil. Yeah. And by the way, if you didn't see the clip, look it up. Put into Google. Did President George W. Bush ever say the Iraq war was over oil? Because he did. He said, yeah, it's about oil. So yeah, do I want them poisoning the water tables with fracking? No, I don't. Do I think that we have enough oil to make up for the lack of natural gas without fracking? Absolutely, of course we do. Look, we've got just Prudhoe Bay alone is 100-year supply of oil. We have so much oil we don't even know what to do with it. Now, how about this? How about we get off our lazy asses and we go down to Venezuela and we realize that, look, Maduro's in power. He ain't going anywhere, baby. So why don't we do a little ass kissing? You know, as they say in business, a little brown on the nose puts a little gold in the pocket sometimes. So go ahead and tell him he's the greatest thing since sliced fucking cheese, and let's get going. Venezuela's got the largest oil reserves on planet Earth, and they're right across the way there. Juno said peace out and got censored for that. How? Jono, not Juno, Jono. New Toyota Electric claims 600-mile range, 20 minutes of charge time. Doesn't matter. Nobody's going to want it. Wait a minute. Toyota doesn't make electric cars. They're literally the ones that said, nope, no electric. They do hybrids. Obviously, the Prius is literally the most successful hybrid ever built. But yeah, I don't know about Toyota. That doesn't sound right. Honda obviously would do it. Hydroelectric, it's not bad. Hydroelectric will work. It helps. I would say that if we can use the best technology we've got, the nuclear is a viable alternative. And if we can fix one problem, are you listening to me, NRC? Because I'm about to solve the nuclear problem for you forever. It's a pretty cocky thing to say, right? But as a genius, this is what I do. All nuclear power plants must be constructed downstream and at a lower elevation than a lake or reservoir, so that if there is a malfunction with the generators, with the cooling pumps, with any fucking thing, you can use gravity to feed water into the cooling system and into the containment dome and into the reactor for the 6 months it takes to cool the reactor down. And then no more Fukushima. I'm not sure if it's actually pronounced Fukushima, but it should be, because that was a huge screw up. Honda got one fully electric vehicle. Really? Interesting. I'll bet it kicks ass, though. Fucking love Honda, man. Honda's just so good at everything they do. The Honda Jet, the Honda motorcycle. I've owned several of those. Probably 10 or 12 of them now. And every Honda motorcycle I've ever owned was just awesome. Just fucking loved them. 30 miles west of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in Ohio, and they are fracking everywhere. Well, my answer to you would be bottled water. Although if you live in Ohio, hey, there was a train wreck a couple of years ago. Yeah, move. Look, even if it's just West Virginia. No offense, West Virginia. Just went through West Virginia, sort of. Did I? I think I did. It was a long trip, man. It was a long trip. Had 5. What, train wrecks? Oh, had 5 Hondas. I was like, damn, the trains are just stacking the fuck up there. So yeah, that's what's going on in the world. By the way, World War III hasn't kicked off yet. I know that Trump's trying to stop it, and Biden's trying to go full Monty, balls to the wall. Let's get this kicked off before I leave office, so that we can drop it in somebody else's lap. Growing hair for Santa. Yeah, I guess maybe you could say that. I just haven't had a haircut in a couple months, about 3 months now, and I just thought, well, shit, let's just see what happens. This is the longest my hair's been since the Marine Corps, and I had my son cut it today. Not really cut it; he just trimmed the back, so I didn't have a hairy neck. Just think a hairy neck it's a bad sign. It's a really bad sign. But yeah, by December 25th, I might have a full-on fucking beard. I'll really look like a crazy Viking then. China's secret gold buying confirmed. Well, that's not much of a secret now, is it? They're buying tons and hundreds of tons, actually. Let's see. Wow. Thanksgiving dinner will be 19% more expensive this year than before Biden was elected. Well, 19 divided by 4, that's not 2%. That's not 2%. Yes, I would be a bad Santa. What website? Oh, I'm on Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge is awesome. They will kick anybody's ass. They do a lot of conservative stuff too, but that's just because the mainstream media seems to be so corrupt now. I'm Stravinsky. Stravinsky. That's a really familiar name. Well, it's not a violin. That's a Stradivarius. Those European names. My grandmother's maiden name was Ignatovich, spelled W-I-C-H at the end. Yeah. How's that fucking Vich? Ignatovich. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. I hit the wrong button. All right, here we go. We're back. All right, let's see. BlackRock, let's see. Electric Revenge. Texas sues BlackRock and others for conspiring to quash coal, sending energy prices soaring. Good. Sue the shit out of those clowns. Historians debate Ukraine war as World War III risks mount. That's not good. It spelled that, not me. Oh, okay. Let's see. Biden asked Congress to authorize $24 billion more to spend on Ukraine. These motherfuckers. $24 billion. Do you know what the United States of America could do with $24 billion in infrastructure upgrades? Do you have any idea what that could do for us? $24 billion. It's stunning. Let's see. U.S. to deepen footprint in Lebanon as part of ceasefire deal. Oh, hey, we're going to put military advisors in Lebanon. That's such a great idea. I wish I'd thought of that. Wait until one of them gets killed on accident. You know, there are people in a country right now going, oh, if those guys get killed, we're going to have so many American troops in this neighborhood. All right, let's do it. That's just my guess. We got homeless. Well, we're always going to have homeless, Moon Monster. That's the reality. There are some people who, you give them $1 million, they'll be dead in a week. I'm not paying taxes anymore. You don't want to say that publicly. Okay. Now, I understand if you decide not to. I'm not going to judge you for that. But let's not talk about it publicly because I personally love paying taxes. Sometimes I pay too much, and when they try to send me the refund, I send it back. I just write a little note. Fuck you. It's all you, boys. Take it. You get me. You guys really get me. So take it back. I'm a patriot, okay? I want Patriot missiles, especially if you're going to fire them into a country I've never heard of. And I've heard of most countries. Oh, Exxon pours cold water on Trump's drill baby drill plans. Huh. Well, wouldn't it be sad if they had to face tariffs too? If they somehow got squeezed really fucking hard by the federal government for a change instead of the other way around. Stocks sold and bonds bid to month end. Let's see. Oh yeah, I guess I should. Biden ramps up pressure on Ukraine to lower conscription age. What? From 25 to 18. What? Whoa. What? Biden ramps up pressure? Okay, I got to read this. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. I mean, I thought this sumbitch was evil, but my God, are you kidding me? The Ukraine military accepts voluntary enlistments from those 18 or older. However, in stark contrast to Americans' experience with military drafts, Ukraine had long exempted men under 27 from being conscripted. The country's legislature last April finally moved to lower the minimum draft age to 25. Last spring, on one of his many visits to Ukraine, hawkish Senator Lindsey Graham expressed shock upon learning that men in their early 20s in Ukraine could not be drafted. I would hope that those eligible to serve in the Ukrainian military would join. I can't believe conscription age starts at 27, he said at the time. You're in a fight for your life, so you should be serving, not at 25 or 27. Joe Biden's Associated Press, by the way, so don't ban me, TikTok, you silly sons of guns. Let's see, Associated Press reports President Joe Biden's administration is urging Ukraine to quickly increase the size of its military by drafting more troops and revamping its mobilization laws to allow for the conscription of troops as young as 18. Wow. A senior Biden administration official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the private consultation said Wednesday that the outgoing Democratic administration wants Ukraine to lower the mobilization age to 18 from the current 25 to help expand the pool of dead children, fighting age men available to help badly outnumbered Ukraine in its nearly 3-year-old war with Russia. That's what I'm talking about. Lindsey Graham expressed shock that we're not sending more people to their death. He's shocked. What war was Lindsey Graham in exactly? What combat zone? Has he ever been shot, stabbed, slapped even? I don't think he has. And yet he wants to lower the age. Does he have children? Because obviously if he sends his kids over there, that'll help. Yeah. They censored you, Moon Monster, when you said old men. Yeah, they censored that. Apparently that's not a popular thing to talk about. But then again, a lot of these things aren't popular to talk about. Unfortunately, they're all extremely important to talk about. I can't believe that we are trying to make them draft kids. We've made it very clear that we understand that the frontal lobe doesn't finish developing until 25. And yet we draft kids at 18 and we want them to do the same. It just, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right, well, let's find out. What did silver do today? Boom. Doubt very seriously it's up. There's no reason for it to be up. Nope, it's just cruising along, right along the floor there at 30. But I'll tell you what, if it keeps bouncing off of 30, that's going to make it an absolute hard resistance level. So unless something goes horribly wrong, we should never be under 30 again for the rest of our lives. Their life is just beginning at 18. They shouldn't have to be drafted. You mean die, right? They shouldn't have to die at 18 because you know what's going to happen to those children when they get to the front lines, especially if they go in the next few months. Think about it. December, January, February, March. These are not months that you even want to be outside in Ukraine, let alone in a muddy trench. It's true. Let's see. So we're at 30.26. That's the ask, or that's actually that would probably be the bid. The ask is going to be a little higher than that, but gold's down $5. Okay, so gold's at 26. Let's go back 6 months. Boom. And what was the high? Let's see. The high was the high was actually October 24th. No, October 22nd at 35, just over 35. Then on let's see, October 29th, it hit 34.60. And then what happened on let's see, October 3rd, October 4th, October 5th, it was at 32. And by November 14th, it was at 29.90 and it bounced back. So yeah, I mean, all right, like I said, I told you guys this is going to happen. Now that doesn't mean that silver is not a great investment. It is. It's the only investment right now in the world without counterparty risk. And look, until we know what's going on, why put it anywhere else? It's a harsh winter, absolutely. But, right now it's bounced along at 30, and that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. The economy doesn't get stronger yet. That's a misnomer. That's impossible. The it's too big. It's too bad off right now, for lack of better English. The situation is very serious. We're not in extremely critical condition like we were a couple of months ago. We were potentially about to end this experiment in a very, very ugly, violent way, and we're not going to do that now. Thank God. Unless, of course, whoever it is in the Biden administration that's running this country right now gets us into a war, which is possible. It is entirely possible that they do that. And if they do, I hope they're held accountable for war crimes against humanity, because that's exactly what it will be. Sell gas, drive electric. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's unfortunately, when you look at what it takes to build an electric vehicle, it's not better for the environment, and they're not as good. Now, they may be someday, but they're not right now. They're just not as good, period. So that's it. It's over. The whole electric car dream has failed utterly and completely. Look at Ford. Ford went all in and they lost $4.6 billion last year, but only on electric cars. They actually made money on everything else. 5 billion sale of stand-up scooters. 5 billion? Well, I guess it's possible. Let's see. What else have we got here? It looks like, oh man, reimagining the resistance. Lawfare warriors express regret, but not remorse after election. That's absolutely amazing to me. Oh, this is great. Russia reveals 2 dead and radar site damaged after U.S. supplied missiles struck Kursk. That's exactly what we don't want, to kill Russians with American-made weapons fired by Americans into Russia. That's really the key right there. So anyway, folks, let's do this again tomorrow night since I didn't get kicked off. It's Thanksgiving, but so what? Let's get together and have some fun anyway. And until I get kicked off, I'll be doing this again every night. All right. Abe Blinken is in charge. Yeah, that is a fact.